Hello guys, welcome back to the video. In today's video, we're going to be doing alternate history, and I am recording this on the day of Halloween. The video will be posted on Halloween, but so yeah. But as you can tell, the map might look a little different here and there. That's because I did have to redraw it, because I was recording a video, but then the recording stopped and like everything broke, so I kind of had to redraw the map from like a couple two episodes ago, which a lot changes in my episodes, so some things might be different, but yeah. Well, let's just jump right into the video. So we're gonna start over here in North America, and well, you're gonna have the red team. Well, no, not the red team. Sorry. You're gonna have our only actual North American country take out all of this, and well, they kind of span down to right there, and well, they explore all the way out to here, and well, our red team, they explore out to here. But you see, the Canadians, the red team and the pink team have a deal where the red, they can't expand much farther. Like the pink has to have some colonies down here in Central America, but on their way, they were able to explore some of these islands. But since the French, they're little snakes, they end up pretty much snatching all of this. Oh my gosh, I forgot about something, guys. Hold up, 1 second. I forgot to redraw this. The French did have this. I know that for sure. And it looks something like that. So, yeah. But the French, they quickly sent up a ship to quickly steal some islands that they found, and they were actually able to get some islands here and there. But the pink, they did get the rest. So the green team, they weren't able, so the French, they weren't able to snatch up too much, but just enough to pretty much take a decent amount of land. But yeah, so, yeah, the pink team, they explore down to here. And, well, our pink, they do end up having, like, a decent amount of a pretty big colony right here. And, well, the reason why the pink team isn't totally over here in North America is because this is mostly red team turf. Like, they've almost completely conquered a continent. And, well, yeah, they've pretty much almost completely conquered a continent. But yeah. But I feel like our red team might be number one. No, definitely not number one. They're like number 3. But our Russians, they are going to start a campaign. They are going to send out some explorers into the cold. And well, they also get support from the light gray team. Well, the light green country. Light gray country. Oh my gosh. Well, eventually looks like this. And then comes down to right here. So yeah, they were actually able to explore quite a bit of the cold, but they weren't able to explore too much because, well, the technology isn't that great, but because they mostly used it and lost a whole bunch of technology here. But you see, our Russians, they aren't going to get completely all of this land. They're going to get a decent amount of land, but not all of it. Oh my gosh, I've got to fix this border. Hold up, guys. Let me just quickly go ahead and fix this, because the Russians, they did not have this before. I know that our blue team was like this big. So our blue team, they were able to snatch up this before the Russians could. Okay, what the heck? Oh no, I think I know what happened. Oh no. And then, okay, now our Russians, they are able to capture like all the way up here in Finland, and then right back down to their country. So they did a fair amount of damage. I don't know why my map is doing this right now. It's kind of triggering. Why is it doing this? Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, there's one single pixel. Okay, there we go. So, are Russians there now, like, our largest non-colonizer country? Because the Russians, they don't really have that much of a colony, but they are actually trying to expand out to here as quick as possible so they can get right down here to South America, because that's where they think they're going to end up. But little do they know, they're actually going to end up right here. So our Russians, they probably will end up colonizing here also, because our red team, they don't have actually much support to go up north. They only have really support to go down south and meet up with their other colony. So, yeah. But eventually so tensions has been rising in the past couple of years from the Diamond and Triangle Alliance. Why is this gray? Oh my gosh, no. This really sucks, because, like, I had a wall here. Like, the pink team had a wall there. It's actually, like, a really cool part of the... Pretty sure it looks something like that. And then, like, there was, like, an outer wall that came out to, like, right here. So, yeah. There we go. That looks about right. Oh, well. That's right now. And, of course, their walls also decided to be broken. This is not going as planned right now, guys. Okay, but yeah. Back to the video now. So, oh my gosh, I did not complete this map. Holy moly. Sorry, guys. There we go. That looks about right, I'd say. But as I was saying, tensions in the past couple years rising between the Diamond and Triangle Alliance. So these two countries, they join, and same with this country right here. And well, eventually we have this country, they also end up joining our Diamond Alliance, no, our Triangle Alliance, because you gotta remember, they don't really like the Diamond Alliance because of these guys. And actually, these guys, they decided to stay neutral. Actually, they start their own alliance up, and well, it's the Heart Alliance. We'll use the color orange for it. Our country over here, no, wait, no, never mind. Actually, here, yeah. No, wait, hold up. Our blue country decides to join it. And same with our, what other country? Oh, yeah, them right there. So, yeah. But you see, the Russians and this country right here, they've been wanting to invade this country right here for a very long time because, well, they have some Russian speakers. And mostly, the Russian speakers are mostly in this land area. And, well, and their speakers, like, they're the people that should be living in this country, live about right here. And, well, they send over an ultimatum asking for their land, for the land that the Russians need, and for the land that the Rose country needs. They did not accept either one because, well, they declined both because they're both in the same alliance. And, well, eventually the Russians, they after a little bit of preparing, like about 1 year preparing, these guys were really unprepared. The Russians, they go ahead and they start the invasion of this country. And well, you can kind of start to see the problem because, well, the Russians, they are in the Diamond Alliance, this country is in the Triangle Alliance. And as the Russians, they start to move pretty fast down they start to get pretty close to the capital, and now start to encircling the capital. And with our Rose country also joining, and pretty much capturing all the land that they need. So yeah, they captured pretty much all the land that they need. They sent over a peace treaty, but they declined it because about 2 days later, these two countries declared war on the Rose and the Russian country, which did technically bring the Pink country into the war and the Brown country in. So our Rose country, they start pushing in, and same with our Russians. And our Russians, they also start to push in on the Blue country. There's so many front lines I'm going to have to deal with soon. Holy moly. Our Russians, they eventually claim these islands. And well, they start to make a little push out to the to push them out of this area. And they're now thrusting in encirclement right here, and encircling a decent amount of troops up here. But the Russians, they also push into this Polish country a little bit, just a little bit. And our red country hasn't joined the war yet, but our pink country, they joined the war on the brown country, but then these guys declared war on them. So yeah, I guess we technically have the First World War going on. And now eventually the brown team's capital gets encircled, and well, it's not like completely wiped out. Eventually our brown country is pretty quick to release it. They do so not terribly, but they could have done it better because, well, you also kind of left this area. These guys left this area undefended. So the pink team, they just thought, okay, well, we'll just push out to here, and then we'll take it. Then we'll just rush through. And that actually does work because they were able to go right around the defenses, and were able to encircle one of the capitals, and eventually take out completely take one of the capitals and start to pushing pretty hard. Our Hard Alliance is going to stay neutral for this war, but our French, they make some gains out here in mainland Europe, because you remember this is like mainly French speakers. They were able to capture one major city, but it's like really deep into French territory, so yeah. The pink team, they start to threaten the capital, and with raids going on the wall every single day at 12 a.m. Our brown country is starting to lose the battle in Africa, with the red team mainly focusing down here in Africa and taking out the brown country and kicking them out. And our pink country, they are also quick to not let the brown get away with this, so they also start pushing out, and they start taking like some major villages, not major cities, just major villages. And they actually are able to make a very big spheroid because, well, it's just desert. This land is not really useful. So the brown country, they actually lose like their whole desert area. This piece of it goes to the red team, and the rest ends up falling over to the pink. You gotta remember, this isn't too major of a loss for the brown team. They can still come back for this, and they are actually holding at this front line. They're not gonna let the red or the pink come here, because, well, if they do, oh yeah, also, these guys joined the war. I forgot to do this. They joined the war, and they got immediately wiped out, like immediately. But our brown country, it over here in the area that Egypt would be, is definitely more fortified. And well, they start to fight back and push quite hard on here, but they are also swift to lose the major cities down here, which are very quickly lost to the red team. Okay, I missed one single pixel, I bet. Where did I miss? Right there. So yeah, they lost that pretty quickly. And well, yes, the red team does struggle with this country right here. It's pretty much because it's a complete fortress of a country. It's like a fortress. Like, this is like the most secure country in the world right now. And well, yeah. So eventually, they were able to stop the advances of two major powers, and well, eventually the red team starts to push into some French colonies, and well, so yeah, our First World War is kind of going well for our Diamond Alliance, well, because they have the strongest countries, but like still, the rest of it does fall over to our Korean colony, and our Korean colony starts to push in up here. Okay, no. So yeah, the Korean colony, they made it right there, and well, it's not looking so well for them because, well, yeah. And the brown team, they would actually still technically have a colony out here in Africa, no, not Africa, Asia, if they decided not to let the Lion Country take that, but because the Lion Country, they just sold it to them, the Purple Country. But eventually, our Brown Country, they do get it together and start pushing deeper into the desert of the Pink Team. Actually, they make a lot of advances, threatening to cut these two areas off. The Pink Team, they send over a decent amount of military from the North America, well, all of what was in North America, and was able to push them all the way back so hard that they sent them back into their own country. Eventually, the Brown Country was able to push them back and kind of just fought right there. They did make it a little deeper. They also were able to push the Red Team back and the Green Team, and the Koreans, because the Brown Country, they are a really strong country, and they are a force to be reckoned with. And well, our Russians over here in Asia, they start their advances, and actually goes pretty well for them. They start cutting some trade off from any other outsiders, because like these guys, they are actually sending support over to them, and this is like the strongest one, I feel like. And well, the Russians, they do actually need all of this land, because all of these countries are Russian speakers. And I gotta remember, the goal of this country is to completely unify all Russian speakers. And well, yes, this is actually the front line. The Russians were able to creep around the front line of like the borders of these guys. And well, now Russia looks like this. Like their troops look like about right there. And they go to capture their first major city, and well, they actually overshot it, and then the Russian government realized that and says we need to make another front line, and well, they were actually able to capture two major cities, and cut the country into two, and eventually the northern half surrenders, while the southern half lives on, because this is like the less more important area, because like this area, if it was like right here, this would be more important, because this is what divides this country into southern and northern. But this is like the less important, more important area, because the capital. But eventually, the Russians, they make some more advances until they get stalemated. And then the Russians, they do actually make some military advances into here until they say stop, or else we will do something. And they're like, no. And well, eventually this country is quick to fall. So, yeah, the Russians, they draw up a peace treaty with them and say, so yeah, you're getting fully annexed. Sorry about this, bruh. But, I gotta do what I gotta do. And well, so the Russians, they now have another country now they don't have to deal with another country. But the Russians, they do have to quickly, and I mean quickly, take out this country as soon as possible. But eventually, they do capture the capital, and now peace treaty talks are happening, but countries are starting to say, no, we don't want that. And over here in Africa, the red team is finally able to take out this colony. They've been trying for a little bit. I just forgot to color it in. The pink team also helped with this. They were actually a really big help with this invasion. So they kind of split it half and half. Well, yeah, somewhat. Obviously, the claims won't go away because technically the green team still claims that land. But the pink team, they go off some island hopping campaign, but they weren't able to take that because the red team did. The red team, they also push the green team out of South America, except for these 3 islands. These 3 islands were able to stand. And, well, over here, right here, this country, they were not, like, the other pink team, Asian pink team, they were not expecting this war to actually happen. They thought this was just one big goof. And, well, they sent over a peace treaty to all of the other countries. And, well, they say, here, we'll give you this. And, red team, you could just take what that you have right now. And we'll leave this alliance. And we will cut off all ties. And they said, well, do one more thing. And they're like, what? Join our alliance. And they're like, I don't know if I want to. One of my enemies are in this alliance. They're like, do it, or else we'll invade you. And they said, you know what? Fine. So they end up joining the Diamond Alliance, and, well, yeah. And over here in Asia now, these 2 countries finally declared war on each other. It was kind of like a phony war, but not really. Eventually, you have the Green. Obviously, the Korean country is going to be much stronger than them after these guys technically lost a war. But you see, the Korean country, they did technically lose a major city to the Dark Korean country. And, well, they're actually going to try to push towards this major city and try to recapture it. And actually, they encircle it, and they slowly moving on it until it just decides to surrender. And actually, everyone up here are, like, people in all of these places are rioting for peace talks or just surrendering. And actually, now they are killing military, like, officials in that area. Like, if they see a military person, they will kill them. And, well, that leads to the collapse of this area in the Dark Green country. And eventually, the Dark Green country starts to collapse more and more, so much so that they leave they leave the Diamond Alliance, the Triangle Alliance, but they still have to surrender. That's how bad they lost the war. And eventually, it's starting to look like a very, very big Diamond victory. But you remember, they still have some colonies to deal with out here in Africa. Sorry, guys. But eventually, our red team, they go ahead and they make a little bit of a cut through here, and they start to go for the encirclement process of encircling the Horn. And then the Korean country will take the rest of that. I have to zoom in here. And then our Korean country takes the rest. So, our Korean country and the red country, they make some land trades. Well, just mainly this, because, well, the Korean country was requesting this because, well, they're having trouble supporting this area. So the red team just gave them this land. And, well, our Diamond Alliance is now being questioned for how strong they actually are. Well, not our Diamond, the Triangle Alliance, sorry. But yeah, eventually they are like, here, everyone's like, here, how about we stop this war and we can go back to being peacefully? They're like, no. But eventually our red country, they start an island hopping campaign in here, in this part of Europe, and eventually they were able to take all of this, and eventually they send one ship, because the Suez Canal was finished actually a little bit ago, about like 30 years ago, and it's actually made the brown country a lot of money. But after this, they actually lost the Suez Canal, and their whole colony over here surrenders somewhat to the this area to the red, and the rest over the pink. And eventually, the other colony surrenders, pretty much in the same area, but just more to the pink also. And then right there. So yeah, eventually you can kind of tell how our pink country is, like, the brown country, they've now been completely put, like, the Diamond Alliance, except for this country right here, which is actually pretty much a fortress. It's just like one big castle. They are the only lasting survivor of the Diamond Alliance that isn't about to surrender. Also, the French country, they're also not about to surrender. And eventually, these guys, they've been, so about 400 battle things have been built at this point, like battle planes been built at this point. And well, you can kind of, because, like, as I've been saying before, technology going up really fast. And eventually, but eventually this blue country surrenders. And yes, our original blue country is promised land from the pink country if they gave them money, and they did. But eventually, this country also starts to surrender, and they are next to surrender. And eventually, same with, actually, wait, hold up, no. So they surrender. We'll just put like a surrendering mark over them. But they surrendered. And same with, like, so if you see this blue dot, if you see a white dot, they surrendered. They just got taken out. And as you can tell, some countries start to drop like flies. And even our strongest country of this alliance goes ahead and drops out. And well, that's pretty much the only one that's left. Oh, this one goes ahead and surrenders. And well, eventually it's like, okay, it's just the French fighting for this entire alliance. And after about a little bit of battling on this red front line, the red makes a very, very big breakthrough. They make such a big breakthrough that they were able to make it to the wall. And well, actually, the pink team and the red team leaders meet up in the red team's capital, and they say, it's kind of funny. The red team's government says, it's kind of funny. They're like, and the pink team's like, the pink team government's like, what? About what? What's funny? And they're like, we were doing this about like 300 to 400 years ago, us two with the blue team. And they're like, that is funny. But eventually, our red team is the first to break through the wall. But they were slow to do it because obviously lots of raiding happening here. By raiding, I don't mean like the battle raids. I mean like civilized people like trying to fight, and like you can't really push through that. But eventually, it slows down to the point where they can start to break through the wall, and well, that's exactly what happens. And this time, the red team and the pink team they declare that they will not break up, even when they split up the capital. So the pink team, they sit right. They were able to take the capital, and well, they do actually build a wall between the city. Oh well, there's one more country, and I'll get to that in a second. They weren't allowed to surrender. So there is a wall built there, but like it's just to signify how much like each country got. But yeah, eventually our French country, they also surrender. And yeah. But now it's pretty much only one country left, and it is this brown country. And well, our brown country, the red team, they did break a peace treaty. They remilitarized this zone, and well, they took a pretty big chunk out of them, and it wasn't enough to make them surrender, but what was enough for them to surrender was the pink team taking all of this, because well, it's honestly pretty crazy. But Now with the no major cities left, they eventually surrender. And peace treaty talks are finally being talked about after the most brutal war in human history. Like, it might not look as brutal as the other war that happened. It is. Every country is now like, okay, this can never happen again. Like, never, ever, ever, ever. Definitely not setting up to World War II. What? Okay, but I'm gonna drop the peace treaty quickly, so I'll show you guys what's happening. So, you have our brown country. They still do exist. They do reclaim some of these old cities, but it's not much what they used to have. And, well, pretty much all cities are left in wrecked, so, like, this is literally just yellow. And, well, our red team doesn't gain that much. They do gain a decent amount. They gain all of that. But our Russians, they gain that from right there. And our Russians, they also take this. No country is allowed to, like, so in the peace treaty, the Triangle Alliance is able to request 3 things, and they requested one. This is one of the things that they requested. Any country over 100 years old is not allowed to be fully annexed. So, the blue country is not allowed. The brown country is not allowed. The light brown country isn't allowed. But you see, this country that was right here is allowed to be fully annexed. And actually, our blue country, they do go ahead and get that land that they were promised from. They actually also get some land from the green country. So this isn't the rise of them again. They aren't rising back up. They are actually. This is actually technically. This is now their capital because it's a much major city than like this one. I just completely forgot to redraw their capital. Our orange country, they also get some land. They gain right there. And our dark red country is also able to gain some. And they actually gain the most because like they're like the other largest. And then our pink gains the most also. Our rose country, they gain this from this country right here, and what is like they gain this. So they still do also exist because they are also over 100 years old. It doesn't look like that though. And now you see, this country is like 70, no, like 920, no, like not 92 years old. And now a lot of fighting has been going on over this country, saying like they're not over 100 years old, they're fine to be fully annexed. And the Russians, they are actually really pro fully annexing them. All Russian people are actually right now. They want to fully annex this country because, well, they did a lot of damage. They lost their kids over this country. And they don't really blame that on Russia. They think that Russia's actually a hero in this war, because they kind of are. They actually saved them from the Diamond Alliance because the Diamond Alliance didn't do great things. Our brown country, they didn't lose all of these islands here. They got to keep some land out here. This is actually the peace treaty that happened. They don't really have a capital right now because this city is pretty much destroyed. So, but yeah, I guess that's their capital. And then, yeah. So all of these alliance, the Triangle Alliance is like broken. It's no longer allowed. So there. So now it looks like this. The brown country, they gotta keep this and this island right there, and that's it. They also gotta keep a little bit of their colony. But our red, actually no, the brown country, they do have the harshest peace treaty because they're like the main leader of this country. And well, they do actually gain some land, surprisingly. And everyone's freaking out about this. They're like, why did they gain land? Why did they gain land? Well, for one reason, and one reason only. Because they're going to be losing a lot of land really, really soon. Because if you think, well, the red team, they take what they want from the French country, and well, they actually got what they wanted already. So the French country is left like this, except for a little bit. The red country does claim a little bit more, just to show that the green country can't do this anymore, and that they shouldn't be claiming their colonies, because yeah. And now for the next 100 years, the green country is not allowed to make any more colonies. They're allowed to keep the colonies that they already have, but the ones that are left, which is like 3 little islands. Our red country, they take a decent amount. They take a little chunk out of, not a little. I mean a decent amount of land from the brown country. Our pink country also does the same. So they're kind of trying to make sure that the brown country can never do this again. And well, obviously the brown country is really salty about this loss. So yeah, you know that land that they just gained, it's not really theirs anymore. But yeah. And eventually it looks like this. And obviously the brown country is way older than 100 years old. They don't really have any other colonies, so yeah, they don't really have any colonies now because they lost all their colonies. This country's actually left like this, except for this. The red team, they were able to get their claims. The pink team, they were not able to. It wasn't because of the red team. It was actually because of the decisions that they made during the war. The red team was a lot more successful compared to the pink team. The pink team was not as successful, but yeah. So, now you have you pretty much just have one very colonized Africa by 3 countries, and that's it. And obviously, the pink country, they don't actually really like the red and the pink. They don't really want this land, so they are looking for buyers. They also don't really want they also don't want this land rate. The Koreans, they don't want that land. So so they're both looking for buyers. The Russians, they are actually pretty interested in the one down here because, well, they actually are able to. The Russians, for their very big war, like they did a lot during this war. The Russians are like one of the main reasons why they won. They might not have looked like it, but they actually are. The Russians are one of the main reasons why they won. But so the Russians, they are rewarded with a very big gift from the red team. This is going to strengthen their bond throughout hundreds of years. The Russians and the red team. The red team gave the Russians that little land right there, which is major, and the red team got this land right here. And this strengthened the bond between the red and the Russians so much that they actually kind of formed a second alliance, like a minor alliance, but like it's so like their relations are so good that they are like brothers right now, and like yeah, Russians and red team, great allies. And well, you see the Russians, they get after a lot of convincing from the Koreans, they decide to dock the price of this land for the Russians because of the massive support that the Russians gave to the Koreans. So the Russians, they now have a colony out here in Africa. So this is probably very big, and now it is colonized by 4 countries. There's 6 countries on this continent. And well, I guess we can go ahead and erase the claims. Because, well, I don't think the green team claims this anymore. They might still, but it's not big. They aren't strong enough to actually keep those claims from long. And those 3 islands do actually get to stay. They do actually get to keep those 3 islands because the red team was feeling generous that day. But yeah, full annexation of this country. They got completely annexed by the Korean country, so that doesn't look great for them. But you can kind of tell how the world is now going for that peace. But you can kind of see where World War II would start, because you have a very salty some of these countries, and with a new alliance starting up, these countries are actually pretty interesting on this hard alliance. This country is also salty. This country. So they didn't get fully annexed. Just saying that. They still are. Every country with a dot on it is like salty about the war. They are because they weren't allowed to join the war. These guys are because they lost some allies. And then, so yeah, these are pretty much all the countries that are salty about the war. Oh yeah, definitely these guys. So, we see everyone's like wanting peace now. No one really wants war, but except for the people with the dots. So yeah, everyone they're keeping their eyes on these countries. Oh yeah, also these guys, they're salty about this country, about the war. And well, yeah. So now you can kind of see how the world has definitely changed throughout this. And before this video ends, the Russians, they do some more exploring up north, and eventually they go ahead and decide to stop exploring and start setting up camps along this these areas, and they actually start reaching close to the Korean country. So they actually got so close, eventually to the point where they were able to hear the Korean country. And well, the Korean country, they go ahead and they make some camps out this way. They meet up with the Russians, and well, now it's pretty big. And then the Russians, they also go ahead and they make a couple more claims here and there, but not so much where it's like that crazy. Because the Russians, they already are having troubles hanging on to some land over here, but not so much, but they're still having some troubles. So yeah, the Russians, they are now claiming, because this was like mostly Russian explored land, like out here I'll color. So all the land that is in the red circle is like the land that the Russians mainly explored when the Koreans were not found yet. So yeah, they explored most of this land, and then like some little dots out here. And well, I will show you the Russian sphere of influence, just to help you guys realize how big their sphere of influence, like the major powers, have gotten. It looks like down here, then down to here. They are out of the sphere of influence. And then it kind of double backs on itself, because, well, then out here, and then they have out there. So it kind of looks weird, but this is their sphere of influence. Yeah. And then the red team, they actually have the largest sphere of influence. I'd say they're up there in 2, right below the Koreans. Like, here's the line between the Koreans and the red team. Here's the red, and then the Koreans are like up there. And go back like 200 years ago. Here's the line between the red and the Koreans. So the red, they're about like down there. The Koreans are about up there. Because like this was a very big, like this was a different time. The Koreans, they are still the strongest country, but still very much different times. But like compared to now, like they're like boom and boom. Yes, they did get farther, but yeah. Our pink country, they are here. I'll give you guys a power ranking and then I'll end the video. So number 1, the Koreans. Number 2, the... Okay, wait. Okay. Number 1, the Koreans. Number 2, the red. Number 3, the Russians. Number 4, the pink. Number 5 is going to be the brown team still. The brown team is still very... Brown country is still a very strong country. Then, number 6 is this country right there. Don't know. I don't really have a name for it. Then, number 7 is this country right there. Like, fighting a number 7 top country is really hard. So, yeah. And then, you go ahead and have our... Yeah, actually, that's about our top powers until it starts getting, like... They're just... The top powers are just strong because, like, everyone else is just weaker than them. It's like, those are, like, the only strong countries. But, like, the rest of the countries aren't actually strong. Okay, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I'm just making it for you guys. I hope you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Bye!